My favorite
Good
market.
morning. Hold on one second, Reid. Good morning. This is Mary Kimball, Executive Director of the Second Center for Land-Based Learning, and we're here today with Reid Norris of Everyone's Harvest, which is an amazing farmers market organization on the Central Coast. He's going to be talking about that. And we are, as we normally do, going to do a little introduction of each other, ourselves, and the thing we're going to ask today is, what is your favorite farmers market? Doesn't have to be certified. Certified is a whole nother thing, and we'll talk to Reid about that. So what is your favorite farmers market? So again, I'm Mary Kimball, and I'm in Woodland. And my favorite market is the Davis Farmers Market, because I grew up here in Yolo County, and all of our friends, and we had a small farm, and all of our friends and farmers, well, actually several of them helped start the Davis Farmers Market. So I have many, many years of going to that market and a great appreciation for so many of the farmers that are there that not just started it, but are still going every single week. And it's quite a market. So if anyone hasn't been to Davis yet and the Davis Farmers Market, come on down or up, depending on where you are in the state. All right. And Dana.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Dana Baker, coming to you from Red Bluff. I'm the Tehama County Farms Leadership Coordinator, and I'm going to take Katie's. So my absolute favorite farmers market takes me back to college, San Luis Obispo. There's nothing like Thursday night farmers market. The food, the friends, I mean, it's huge, it's beautiful. That's, I mean, just such a little niche area there. The produce is amazing, but I think just the memories from that bring back are great. However, I do have to give a shout out to all my little local ones now here in Red Bluff and Anderson and Redding. They all have wonderful farmers markets that we do frequent. So.
Yay. College times, of course. A little different version of farmers market time. All right, Joseph. Joseph's gotten a haircut.
I did get a haircut.
Thank God.
Morning, my name is Joseph. I'm the Farms Leadership Coordinator for the Sacramento Valley. I actually have a couple. So obviously there's the WX in Sacramento. It's underneath the freeway. It's fantastic. Just farm produce. Also, you know, a little bit more than that, but also there's the farmers market is what they call it, or it's like a flea market it's called a Nios in Roseville. It's a huge, expansive place, which, you know, they have a lot of farm produce there, but also just a lot of stuff. And, you know, if you're looking for really cool stuff, they have stuff there. So that too.
Good morning. My name is Katie Wortman. I am the Farms Leadership Coordinator in the Central Valley, coming to you from Fresno. And yes, my favorite all-time farmers market is in San Luis Obispo, Thursday nights year-round, unless it's raining, but you know, we don't get a lot of that. But yes, it's my favorite. Good times, lots of great memories.
Good morning. My name is Romi Wattenbarger. I'm the Kern County Farms Coordinator here in Bakersfield. And Dana and Katie, mine is the favorite of San Luis Obispo. As our family, we have a house over there, so we would always go there during spring break, or just many memories going over there on Thursday nights. And it's just, the vibe's good with all the people, friends, and everything. So it's a great time.
Good morning. I'm Leticia Hernandez, and I run the program in Monterey and Santa Cruz County. My favorite farmers markets would have to be the local ones that are here at the hospitals. We do one at Memorial, and I don't think we're going to be doing Natividad, but Reid will have to let us know about that. And my favorite booth, I guess, would be the flower person that sells the flowers there. So.
Go ahead, and Letty. Mary's having a hard time, so.
Oh, great. Oh, no. Well, hopefully she'll be able to jump back on, but I can go ahead and introduce Reid. Reid Norris is the Executive Director of a Certified Organic Farmers Market here in the Monterey County area. And he also has an olive orchard. And Reid, if you can share what your favorite farmer's market is, that would be great.
You bet. So my name is Reid. I'm director of Everyone's Harvest. We're a nonprofit that runs farmers markets and nutrition programs in Monterey County. And I got to know Letty through some groups doing similar work in our area. So it's been great to work with her and get to know people who are really inspiring and doing great things. My favorite market, I'm calling from Marina today, so I'm going to stick with Marina. It's our Sunday market, really fun one. And has just a really diverse group of farmers. They're all local, small family farmers, and they're really great to work with. And exciting time because it's summer, so a lot of them are coming back if they've been gone for the season. So that's I'm going with Marina today. Sundays on Reservation Road.
Great. And can you share a little bit about your background, Reid, and how you got into ag and where you started?
Yeah, so I've been here at Everyone's Harvest for 4.5 years, and this is my first experience running a nonprofit. And I moved to the Central Coast because I wanted to be involved with sustainable agriculture. And like Letty mentioned, I'm passionate about olive oil, and I got into growing olives. And I've actually been up to Woodland where Mary's at and met some people who are farming around Davis. So I got out there and I tried to learn as much as I could about it. I took a class with a 10-month organic farming training program with a group called ALBA here in Salinas. And that was another way I got to know people who are doing cool work with small farmers in our area. And I learned more organic techniques about growing my own olives. I'm totally an amateur when it comes to farming. I don't farm for a living, so I have even greater admiration for people who do. And yeah, learning about farming, getting passionate about it, and realizing that there was all this cool work happening in Monterey County, this place I'd chosen as my new home. So that's kind of how I got to Everyone's Harvest.
Do you have a background in agriculture, or what's your background? Where did you come from? You said you moved to the Central Coast. Our students are a little bit of everything in their background, and not until high school when they find out about agriculture. What's your story, your background?
You bet. So it took me a while to decide what I wanted to do in college, but I ended up getting a degree in literature and creative writing. So for years I studied that, and I went to a small college in Oakland, California, and that was kind of me falling in love with California. I'd come from the Midwest. I grew up in Indiana. So I was back in the Midwest for a few years, and went to graduate school for art. So most of my training is in arts and humanities, and met my wife in graduate school. And we kind of decided we wanted to have another adventure, and her job would allow her to move to California. So that was really at the time what brought us out here. And I had been in education for 5 years at that point, and involved with a number of other projects. I'd always been passionate about food. I was part of a team that launched a restaurant. So I'd done a lot of different things. And yeah, when I moved out here, I did a lot of different jobs and tried to meet people and tried to get out there, and just found that, I think what inspired me most about this place was this unique commitment to local agriculture that is really makes Monterey County a vibrant and interesting place, and something I wanted to learn more about. So not probably a model your students could replicate in terms of how to become a nonprofit executive. But it's worked for me, and I've always been a person who likes to learn and try new things and go new places. And that's kind of what worked for me here, is getting out of your comfort zone a little bit and meeting new people.
Yeah, well, we often find that a lot of people just take different pathways before they end up in ag. And so it's always great for students to hear more about that. But I thought originally your parents, they don't farm, they're in the medical field. Is that correct?
Yeah, my mom was in health and fitness, and my dad and I have a twin sister, they're physicians. Mm-hmm. So most of the agriculture where I come from is large industrial scale monocrop farming. So there's a major turkey and chicken poultry operation near my town. There's a lot of corn and soybeans farmed there. So it was around me growing up, but I didn't get the bug for it until I moved out here.
Great. Well, what does an executive director of a nonprofit do? What's your day-to-day?
So I think a nonprofit is really similar to any other small business. We have the same kind of concerns about how to raise revenue and how to use it in the best way and how to treat our customers well and be professional relationships with our vendors. The only difference with a nonprofit is that nobody owns the nonprofit. Like I can't sell Everyone's Harvest, for example, and neither can anybody else because it belongs to the community. So part of that community agreement is that we don't pay taxes on the revenue we earn, but we're also guided by a mission. So our mission is about expanding access to healthy food in our community. And so I oversee all the different tasks that make that happen, whether it's hiring and training people to run farmers markets or networking with farmers to bring their crops to us, or partnering with healthcare agencies to help people in need access healthy food. So it's hard to say what a day in the life is like. Every day is different, which I think is what makes the job fun and interesting. But that's kind of the overview of what the nonprofit looks like.
Mm-hmm. But you're doing markets right now 5 times a week, or what's your market schedule?
So we've got 2 open year-round, and of course the last 3 months have been totally consumed with trying to figure out social distancing and staying open and providing the important resource of healthy food at this time. And typically we open markets in the summer as well in Salinas. So we do 3 markets in Salinas. Right now we've got 1 open, the Memorial Market that you mentioned. And then we're looking at opening another market in June. We do a market in partnership with WIC on Alisal Street in Salinas. And the other one we do is with Natividad, and we're still figuring that out. So I'm actually meeting with them next week to see how they're feeling about this year. But yeah, unique time because we do such partnerships with healthcare organizations, and obviously, their priority right now is dealing with the COVID. So it's been an interesting time.
Yeah. And what else what other precautions are you taking at the market?
So we've almost totally changed things. We have more staff on to support, to help the vendors keep people in line. We put tape on the ground for people to stand on, like you see at all the stores now. We have fewer vendors. That way we can spread them out a little more. And, more access for the staff or for the public to things like hand sanitizer and hand wash and gloves and masks. And if you go to everyonesharvest.org is our website, and that's where we keep people up to date about what's going on with the markets and our social distancing plan and that kind of thing. Great.
Yeah, things are kind of crazy these days, but I'm glad, farmers markets are definitely considered essential. So that keeps things going. Go ahead, Dana.
I had a question, Reid. You mentioned that you increased staffing. So did that allow you to hire more people, or did you just utilize having people move from, one job to being able to be there at these markets at the time when they typically they'd be doing something different?
So typically we're busier in the summers than we are in the winters because we run more markets and there's more farmers active, more of our programs are active. So because of the way things have looked the last couple months and frankly, the downturn we've had in revenue from having fewer vendors at the markets, we're really just trying to maximize the staff we have right now. And, I think we still could maybe hire some more people. I'd like to bring on some more people to the team. But we hired a new market manager, program manager in February. So right now it's me, there's 3 market program managers, and then there's a fellow who's with the AmeriCorps Fellowship, and that's a great program for students to learn about. I did AmeriCorps during college, and it's a term of service to a organization in your community, and that's a really great resource for organizations like ours too, because it's not a full-time, highly paid position. It's more about community service, and yeah, we're lucky to have that too. So there's 5 of us right now.
Great. And I think Joseph had a question. Joseph, did you want to ask your question?
I do. Hey, Reid. So what is the importance of certified organic produce? Why does it make a difference? And what are the health benefits of choosing organic versus non-organic?
Great question. So when we say certified farmers market, we mean that the farmers who come to our market have been certified by the ag commissioner in their county. And so that's a way of promoting trust and integrity in the markets, because every farmer at our market has a sign that says, "We grow what we sell." And I think that's really cool, because if you go to the supermarket, you're going to see food shipped in from all over the world, right? You're going to see apples from Chile, right? Because we can't grow apples here all year round, so we get them from far away and ship them at great cost. The farmers who come to our markets are, usually Central Coast and Central Valley, so within like 100 miles of the market, and they've committed that everything they're going to sell has been grown on their farm. So that's a certified farmers market. Certified organic is a little different. It's a set of industry standards that are all about sustainability and keeping the land you work on healthy, and not using synthetic pesticides and fertilizers and treatments. So you can still use fertilizer, for example, but it has to be an organic fertilizer like compost. It can't be nitrogen that's produced in a lab somewhere. So organic standards are certified by a different agency that will go to your farm, and you will say, "Here's my organic plan, and here's all the things I do." And if you prove to them over a period of time that you're farming in that sustainable way, they'll certify you organic.
Very cool. Thank you. I actually have a follow-up question. You mentioned that you're getting a lot of your produce from farms within about 100 miles of that farmer's market. Why is that important? Why should we care that it comes from only 100 miles versus from Chile or whatever?
That's a great question. I think about that a lot, because we do have a lot of people on Earth to feed. So there are good things about global food systems for sure. However, I do think it's really important too that people learn about eating seasonally, and that it's a more sustainable way to eat things as they come into their peak freshness, and it's more delicious too. The best produce is the produce that's meant to be eaten at a certain time of year. And I just think the small farms are inspiring in a lot of ways too. They're generally the ones who are organic, in large part because there's a financial incentive. You can sell organic produce at a higher markup than conventional. So that's a way for small family farmers to stay in business and stay in the game. And there's just something fun too about getting together as a community. I know right now we're not trying to promote huge gatherings, but in typical times, a farmers market is just a fun community gathering place that, as more of our lives get online, I just really enjoy that kind of old school central place in the community where people come together to exchange ideas and eat delicious food and have fun. So there's all kinds of things to love about the farmers market.
Yeah, and I'd also say, Joseph, like, the farmers are a part of this community. I actually have one that lives just 4 houses down that participates in the local farmers markets with everyone's harvest. And so I think that's a great reason to have them really local. But another great thing about nonprofits is that you guys get to do programming. And Reid, can you talk a little bit more about the programming that you guys do?
You bet. I think there are a lot of organizations that run farmers markets and run them very well. What makes us unique is our commitment to nutrition. And I think we do more of these nutrition programs than certainly any other farmers market organization in our area. So a big part of what we like to get the word out about is this program called Market Match. And we partner with Ecology Center in Berkeley on that one. And the way that works is any family that comes to shop with a CalFresh EBT card at the market will double their purchases for fruits and veggies from our farmers. So it's a great program because it helps people in need of healthy food get it, and it helps our markets too, because all that money goes to our farmers. So that's one example of a program we've run for, I think, 7 or 8 years now, maybe even more. And as we've run it, we've seen participation grow. And even now, when attendance at the market is down because of COVID, the redemption rate of that program is steady, because I think more than ever now, people need help getting healthy food.
That's good. And what else do you want to talk about the garden a little bit and how that was started?
Yeah, part of the history of our organization is doing community gardens too, because our mission is about helping people access healthy food. So our founder was involved with a number of community gardens, and we still do one here in Marina that's right outside our office, and it's really gorgeous this time of year. So it's a great place to take a break from the office and get some fresh air. And it's in partnership with, there's a office across the street for veterans experiencing homelessness, so they can come garden there. Also, people from the local Marina community that want to rent a bed can garden there. And adults with disabilities from organizations like, we have Hope Services in our area, and NCI partners, and they're pretty active in the garden too. So even now with shelter in place, I see people going out there, like couples, kind of 2 at a time, to tend to their garden bed. So that's cool to see.
Great. And do you guys have any plans of expanding? I know I haven't been in the loop of all things going on with everyone's harvest, but what's in the works?
Yeah, great question. So the sky's the limit for our programs, because even though we live in a place, Monterey County, that grows so much food and is known as the salad bowl of the world, the access to the healthy food isn't equitable here. It's not evenly shared among the community. So we're going to keep doing programs like Market Match, and we do a program where physicians can write prescriptions for fruits and veggies at the market. And we had 150 families in that last year. So a big part of our work right now is trying to figure out how to make those programs stay open during shelter in place. And then, like any business, we'd like to continue to grow and open new markets if opportunities become available. You do have to be careful about just having so many markets that they diminish each other in the community. We have quite a lot of farmers markets in Monterey County. So if we open a new one, we're gonna have to make sure that there's enough support for it, and that the farmers who go there can get a benefit out of it. And yeah, we're always looking to grow too with more volunteers and more people who want to come shop at the market and get some good food.
Great. And if I have some students interested locally to volunteer, would it be okay for them to contact you, or should they be contacting somebody else?
Absolutely, they can contact me, and I can. The AmeriCorps I mentioned earlier, he's the one who oversees our volunteer program, so I can connect you with him, and he'll let you know about what kind of opportunities we have. And yeah, we generally have. We're right near Cal State Monterey Bay, so we have students from there who will come work in our garden or help us at the farmers markets, and we also just have kind of volunteers around the community who help us with all kinds of things that a small business, small nonprofit might need. So there's always something to find to do for somebody who's passionate.
Great. And I think we're almost at time. Does anybody have any other questions for Reid?
I have another question.
Sure.
Hey, so Reid, so you mentioned, finances and the importance of the global food system, but, what are some of the economic benefits of shopping at a local food market instead of, supermarket where, maybe they take stuff from international places? Obviously the food is fresher from a farmer's market because it goes from the farm straight to, your shopping cart bag, but, what are some of the economic benefits? Maybe at a state level or even locally?
That's a great question. That's a tough question. That's a really good one, though. I mean, I think part of the way I think of it is that when you spend your money on food, you're kind of voting for the kind of food world you want. And I think, like I said, there's definitely a role for both in our society. But I'd like to see as much go to local farms as goes abroad. And it is really tough for small farmers. They're really up against it in terms of scale, because the big farmers are so big now that it can be hard to compete. And as the bigger farms get into organic farming, that'll make it tougher to keep getting that higher price that the small farmers can get. And then, like Letty mentioned, one of her neighbors is a farmer. You get to know the farmer, and it's a fun relationship to have. You get to go talk to them and hear about what they're growing that week and what's in season and what they're jazzed about. And they bring their kids to the market, and then the next thing you know, the kids running the booth, and it's just a neat a neat relationship that probably doesn't happen at the supermarket. And I think there's so much great work too being done in California by people who are promoting a seasonal year-round approach to eating, one that is really community-based. People like Alice Waters, or I think Mary said she's from Woodland. There's a farmer there, Mike Madison, that's at the Davis Market that I really admire. And that's just a cool thing to get involved with. And like I said, something that inspired me when I moved here.
I have a question about food safety. The food safety is obviously a huge issue, or has been in the past. Does that come back? You don't have any liability, do you?
Well, we have a responsibility to keep the market safe. And the partner we work with on that is Monterey County Health Department. And the health departments also regulate the farmers. So there absolutely are food safety standards. And that's one thing we train the market managers to watch for is, because sometimes we don't have them right now because of COVID, but we'll have, cooked foods too, so people can get lunch at the markets, and there are rules about how to do that. And same thing with the farmers. There's different things you have to watch out for. There's a lot of regulation actually for farmers markets, and that's one of the challenges too for both for us and the small farmers, is keeping up with all the rules.
Yeah, I imagine. And before we go, Reid, do you have any last words of encouragement for students maybe interested in nonprofit work in agriculture? Or
Yeah, I've really enjoyed this day. I appreciate so much you all having me. Volunteering is great. Go find an organization you admire and ask if they need an extra hand. That's a great way to learn more about a new business or a new skill. And yeah, something that's been valuable for me is just to try to find new opportunities to learn new things. So whether that's school or some other like non-traditional thing, like I said, I went to this farmer training program for 10 months. It was fun, and I was new to the area, so I made friends, and I got to learn about a new world I didn't know about. So I think that openness to always being a learner has been really valuable for me.
Great, and I would have to second that, because when I was starting the garden and volunteering like crazy, that's how I was able to meet people like you. So thank you so much, Reid, for being on, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thanks so much for having me. This was wonderful.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.